Feels like I'm starting all over again. This battle I'm fighting, I just can't win. It gets harder and harder to keep your faith. Where are the good things for those who wait? For those who wait. Oh, can you hear me where you are? You're so close, but I'm so far away. Oh.
Now, where do I begin to introduce this guy? I'll put it this way. Has well over 82,000 subscribers on YouTube. Well over 9 million, not 8, not 7, but 9 million video views on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, our artist spotlight of the week, and you could probably hear him in the background, Andy Kirk with Runaground. Welcome, Andy.
What is going on, Jim? How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, having a great time. You know what? Because I'm hanging out with you.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, man.
No, we do appreciate it more than you would know, and I know all the worldwide listeners, and no pressure, but we do broadcast to 176 countries, so everybody's listening in, whether they can understand or not. So
that is awesome. Well, hello to everybody.
All right, now I could start in a million other places, and I mean million, literally, other places, but what seems to be kind of the elephant in the room, if you will, is the Avicii cover that you're doing, and it literally it's like watching a clock click, 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 click. It's gone viral.
That thing is, it's going
It's Wake
crazy.
Me Up, by the way. Everybody, it's Wake Me Up. So anyway, go ahead. My gosh. Tell me what you think. I mean, literally, I can sit there and watch in 15 minutes, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. It's going crazy.
Man, it's super exciting when that happens. Being an artist that's based kind of on YouTube. At the moment, really, we do a lot of content, interact with most of our fan base for right now on YouTube. So when a video like that takes off, it is super exciting to watch it, because we are always posting lots of content, whether it's like behind the scenes content or whether it's new music videos or covers or original songs, which we're the most passionate about. But we're always posting these videos, and to see one of them really take off and kind of leave the leave the ground for real was super, super exciting. And I think when we got up, I think it took 3 or 4 days for it to really start getting moving. And then Avicii's song, I really fell in love with the melody and just the whole structure of the song. And I was like, man, I'd love to sing this thing. And so we decided to do it. And, the whole video was a crazy day where it kept almost raining us out. Sometimes these videos, man, it's hard to get them to the final stage, of complete and put together. And that was one of those ones where the recording went smooth, and then we shot the video, and it rained almost all day, but somehow we pulled it together.
I watched the video, and you did a very good job, by the way. Now, what a lot of people know, and we're going to get back to some other stuff, but like I said, this is the elephant in the room, because literally it's like watching the deficit go up. It's just like sailing to say, but this is only now that you're approaching these kind of numbers on YouTube.
Right.
There's a story behind where you actually were pushing well over 1 million, and all of a sudden YouTube decided to do something.
Yeah, YouTube. Man, it was heartbreaking. My wife and I both are very involved with Runaground and all of the arms of the way we reach out and connect with our fans, and YouTube being the basic structure of that. We're always kind of logging on and replying to comments and that sort of thing, and keeping an eye on how videos are doing. And we got up one morning and saw the video had been removed, and your heart sinks, because when you put up a new music video each week, you've got the traditional recording artists in the industry who they'll record 10 or 12 songs and then they tour for 2 years on those songs.
Right.
And as an indie artist, you try recording 50 yourself and releasing music videos for each one almost every week, and so your heart and soul is just in each one, and this one in particular because it was starting to really see some success and overseas as well. And we got up and the video had been apparently flagged by users because Avicii had not Avicii, the popular DJ whose song we covered, he had not released his video yet, and I think people were coming to YouTube and they were mistaking me for Aloe Black.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we got some flags, and obviously, we're Runaground, and I'm Andy, the lead singer of that. But unfortunately, they took it down. And YouTube's a big, wonderful thing, and it's also a big machine as well. And so we, called some friends at YouTube and said, "Hey guys, is there a way we can get this back up?" And they tried to get it back up for us, but didn't work. But they said, "You know what? Re-upload it." And we were like, "Really? Lose 1 million views? You don't understand."
Wow.
Some videos we release only get 10,000 views. And so we thought, you know what? We'll put it back up and we'll just we'll move right along. And we did. And lo and behold, man, it took a couple of days again for it to get moving, but we were still right there and came up on the first page of the YouTube search results for that song. And here we are now, 4 weeks later, and we're headed towards 2 million views now on that video. So it's insane.
Yes, that is insane. Now, there's a couple things going on here. First of all, what people don't realize is, and I mean this by no disrespect, but by any means, but they're like, who's Andy Kirk? I mean, some people will, some people won't. Well,
Sure.
What they don't, they're starting to know who you are. Believe me, it's going. Like I said, if this thing's going viral, they're going to know who Runaground and Andy Kirk is. Not to mention, we're going to be broadcasting this again through an interview and podcast for you. So,
Great.
But anyway, what a lot of people don't realize, and just even with the radio station, we've only been around for about 4 years.
Okay.
And when we started off, I like to call it, we turned on the switch, and we had no idea if anybody would ever listen. And and then within the first year and a half, we had over 1 million hits. And it got to the point where I work full time. We're all volunteers here at the radio station, those on the on air and behind the scenes. So it got to the point where we just couldn't keep up and go to work. You know what I'm saying? So, and which was a good problem to have.
Absolutely, that's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the point is where I'm going with this is a lot of people don't realize, there's a lot of years that's gone into making Andy Kirk and Runaground what they are today. It's not like you just go out on YouTube. Oh, I've never heard of this guy. I like this guy. There's a lot behind that. Because reading your bio, I know that you literally, started getting into drums and so on and so forth at the age of 12.
Yeah. Man, I've been playing some form of a musical instrument since I was about 12 years old. I think a friend of mine who was a drummer at the church that I grew up going to when I was young, he gave me my first, I remember it was a blue sparkly snare drum. I remember it being, I remember how much it sparkled, and I used to take that thing out on the porch and drive my parents crazy, beating that thing with a couple of broken drumsticks or something. He gave me my first drum, and then from then on out, it was history, man. It was what's funny about it is that I played the drum, as a young kid. I was, maybe 8, something at that point, and didn't really start picking up the drums as an instrument, just messing around with that snare drum. And then I picked up the trumpet and learned to read music and play trumpet in school, in the marching band, all the way through most of high school. And it wasn't until really middle school that I started getting pretty serious about the drums, and finally convinced my parents to get me a set. And the rest was history after that, because it was like, they couldn't get any peace and quiet. And I was lucky enough that they let me, bang on those drums all day, all day long. I don't know
Yes,
why.
you are very lucky.
And so, man, I would come home from school, from middle school and high school, and drop my backpack and just go to my happy place, put those headphones on, and I played every song that I loved. I'd turn the radio on or pop in a CD and just learn to master those drum grooves. And that's where really my love for music and creating music really spawned out of. And from there, it was like, okay, now let's pick up a guitar and I've been singing in the shower and, by myself. I wonder if I, stepped up to the microphone, would it be, how bad would it be, and so the rest was history after that. But yeah, music's been a love and a passion of mine since I was little, and I've just been kind of holding on for dear life, ever since. And when I was 12, 13, 14, I started playing in a local band in Knoxville, Tennessee, a couple of hours east here of Nashville. And man, we started touring, and those guys that I was playing with were all in their mid-20s, and it was such a wonderful experience just learning about the music business and learning about keeping time, being in a band, and the responsibilities of making music, and the fun side of it too. And so from then out, we moved to Nashville, Tennessee. Who was my wife now was my girlfriend then. We moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and went to college here. And I just kept pursuing the music thing, and met some guys here that were in some bands that were touring, and full-time musicians here in Nashville, and did a record with one of those guys. And a few months later, it was a publishing company here asking me to write songs for them, and every little step of the way, there's just been kind of another breadcrumb leading me to the next piece of the journey. And so now I look back over, 10 years of doing all kinds of crazy stuff in the music business, and here we are, finally seeing Runaground leave the ground.
You talk about that though. Reading some of your bio here, it says, after many years, pounding the pavement as a solo artist, and not 1, 2, but 3 failed record deals, it says.
Yeah.
You decided, now this is what I find fascinating, and it goes back to your point about, I'm singing in the shower, if I step over the mic, how bad can it be, right? Well, you really put yourself out there, because what I'm reading is you recorded your first music video on an iPhone, then you posted it on YouTube. Wow, man.
We, man, it's amazing to see how much YouTube grows each month as far as people that get on and watch, and also the people who are posting content. But we started to kind of investigate, the newest, really kind of the biggest search engine in the world, what's become YouTube, and the biggest place to find your video content and music. And it's just a place where a lot of people go to discover the arts, whether it's video or music or whatever it is. And my wife, who's always kind of been the brains, I always call her the brains of the operation. And
I got one too, and I call her the same thing. I get it.
That's it. And she said, I think we should try this independent route. You've had a publishing deal and several record deals, and we've been putting our career in the hands of someone else, and we've learned a lot of things and done some great tours and all those things. But now, knowing what we know, how to make a record and how to write the songs and how to take it to the finish line, why don't we try this, and let's be the ones to blame this time if it doesn't work. And so we did. We got a couple of iPhones out and called a friend of mine, who a girl named Aria Summer, who was in that video with me, that we did a cover of Somebody That I Used to Know by Coach K.
Yeah.
Great song. And from then on, we have been just kind of holding on for dear life, trying to keep up. And it's been 10 million views since then, almost now. So it's crazy. I'll start on an iPhone.
And you gotta, you gotta, just like me, I mean, from the radio station point of view, is that, when I look at statistics and I say like, what, it's just like, it sometimes I'm absolutely in awe. I just can't fathom why, people, well, this is just me. People want to tune into a station. We don't have DJs 24/7. We're all volunteers, so we kind of come and go, and just for the fact that we work full-time jobs, right? So,
right.
But like I said, I was telling you earlier, how exponentially we just kept going, and we continue to grow to the point where we had Antarctica. That was kind of our mission in life for our 4th anniversary, to make sure we got Antarctica, and we did. We had some scientists tune in down there and listen to our shows. How cool is that?
So cool, man.
But the point I wanted to kind of go back to is the fact you keep mentioning YouTube. Now, the reason I say that, yes, because you're right. I mean, if I want to find out how to do something, or, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this show for these many years, so I go to YouTube. I do the same thing, right?
Yeah, yep.
But the thing about it is, I have noticed, and it's not just you, but a lot of people, they are actually making YouTube what used to be their website.
Sure.
Is it really taking the place of a website?
That's an interesting question, and I bet you find different answers on that. We're in the process of getting up a Runaground website that will really just be a place that hosts all of our different social streams of media with, Instagram, YouTube, and all the different things we do to hang out with people and connect with them and share, our little thoughts with the world. But for the most part, I see YouTube as a place where, if you have video content, if you're a creator or an artist, or gosh, you could be doing just about anything, and there would be a way for you to utilize the platform of YouTube to share it with people. And so I've known, and I'm starting to know more of artists and entrepreneurs who are using YouTube as it's just kind of their main hub for everything. Catch all and come here if you want to, connect with us, because all of our stuff's on YouTube, and I couldn't agree more with that, So it's
and like I said, I just noticed seems to be more of a trend heading toward YouTube, and I think it goes back to the fact too is with YouTube it's more visual. I know personally, I'm more kind of a visual guy. If you show me something, I kind of get it more than if you just tell me something. Right?
Absolutely.
So maybe that's some of the reason the popularity of that is. Now, going to really switch gears on you. we're gonna get back to some of the basics, and your group, if you will, is called Runaground, and there is a story behind that name. Please share.
Yes, there is. Well, Runaground, the name comes from an experience that my grandfather had in World War II, and I when we were looking a couple of years ago to name the new project or the new sound of what we wanted to bring out, kind of to the world, I was thinking of all the things that meant something to me, and about stories that I'd heard growing up, and I've always been somebody that whenever I go to write a song, or even to sing, if it's a cover song, even to sing a song, it's just, for me, I think music is something that it connects in such a deep way to your soul, and I've always had sort of a kind of a spiritual connection with music, and even when singing live, it's always been something for me that was deeper than just a kind of a fun thing to do. And so when I was thinking about what I would name the new project, the new band, I remember the story that my grandfather told me when I was growing up, and I did like a project on him, I think my 8th grade year or something, of middle school, and it was about his experience in World War II, and he was on a Navy ship in the Leyte Gulf during World War II, and one day they were headed into what would be the Battle of the Leyte Gulf, which apparently was one of the bloodiest battles in naval history, if not the bloodiest. And on the way into that battle, they ran aground, literally. And what I found out later was that they saw another ship headed into the battle, and their ship had run aground off the coast of the Philippine Islands. And so they go out to get this ship and to help them back on course. And they do it. They pull the ship off the beach, and they get them loose, and they're headed back into the battle. And then lo and behold, my grandfather's ship, the LCI G580, they get themselves stuck. So now they're ran aground, and they're stuck there for, I think it was 3, 4, 5 days. Well, they missed the whole battle that takes place, and it's a very historic one. If you Google it or YouTube it, you'll find information about it. And a lot of men, sacrificed a lot, for our country during that war, obviously. And my grandfather was one who put his life on the line as well. And in that battle, there's a good chance that he may not have made it through it. And I remember thinking about all the things that had happened to me, as an independent artist, it's you against the world, and I imagine some of the listeners could understand that whatever your dream is, it's kind of like you, it feels like a lot of times it's you against the world. And we'd had, 1, 2, 3 record deals and a publishing deal, and a slew of managers come and go, and, people believe in you one second and the next second, they don't. And it really felt like that our dreams had just kind of beached, and we were stuck and not understanding what, we were supposed to do next. And what I realized that, when we were starting something new, and it began on YouTube with an iPhone video, was that if all of those things hadn't kind of come to the shore for a moment and slowed us down, we wouldn't have been able to start what's now Runaground. That's got more than 10 million views, worldwide, and I get messages and emails from people literally in every country of the world saying how a song, maybe it's a cover song, maybe it's the lyrics of "Where Do I Begin," meant something to them that day, or they got off work and they just turned on some music that brightened their life a little bit. And so comes full circle, and before we really started it, I knew that this was going to be an opportunity to start something real and something that people would connect with, and something that we would kind of be able to have for our own, that we felt like maybe as an independent band or entity, we could go out and inspire people that, just because the ship runs aground doesn't mean that that things are over. It means that, maybe for you, and I know for us, that for a time, something else is kind of saving you from something that may have taken you down for the count, and so that's the way we look at it now. And when I think about all those record deals, I don't see them as failures anymore. I see them as just little pieces of the puzzle, and they led me to a point where I slowed down enough to realize what we really wanted to do, which was to start something like Runaground, and it would have, if had we continued down the path we were on, who knows where we would be. But I can tell you, we wouldn't be sharing our music with 10 million people around the world. It just would not have happened. We would have just been playing, in clubs or wherever each night. And it's just been so neat to see how it's spreading like kind of a viral wildfire, if you will, in different countries and here in the States. It's really neat, and it's humbling, and it's exciting, and it just means that it's just the beginning. And so I love that we can go out and share that with people, and we're looking to take Runaground on the road, hopefully here soon in Europe and here in America, and to share that same thing with people every night, have a great time and feel alive, and say, where do I begin? So
what an inspiration. That's a great story. You know what? And I was kind of connecting and relating with what you were saying, because even in my life, there's been a lot of things that's gone on where you're like, I want this and I want it now, and it just didn't work out. But it goes back to the old saying too, for every action there's a reaction. So there's a reason behind, and at least in my opinion, things happen.
Right.
And I will tell you, just from real quickly, then we're going to move on to another thing before we wrap up with you. But I know that here again, when we turn on the switch, we're volunteers. We work off donations and so on and so forth. There was a time where we didn't know if we were going to make it, but we didn't have the interview capabilities just 2 years ago.
Wow.
And so it is like, yes, there's frustration. Yes, you pound your proverbial head against the wall sometimes, wondering, is it really worth it? But then in the long run, we get an email or something from, like you said, anyone from around the world, especially in our case from vets, saying, I'm over in Afghanistan, and it's nice to know that we got jokesters, we got people bringing a small piece of home to us, and that's kind of our tagline, bringing a small piece of home, no matter where you are. So that is, in my opinion, yes, we need to slow down too. And I was just right with you the whole time you were telling me that story. I'm like, yes, amen. Give it an amen. Yes. Now, real quickly, I also, besides everything else going on in your life and all the exciting things, I also understand there's a movie that you are playing a part of that's coming out this fall.
Yeah, it's a movie, and I still don't know if it'll be a limited release or if it'll go out in all theaters. There are some pretty wonderful actors in the film. They'll skip my memory now here to name them. You may have a piece of paper with their names on them too, but it's a movie called The Identical. And,
Ashley Judd being one of them.
Yes, Ashley Judd plays the wife of Ray Liotta, who plays a pastor in the movie, and whose son in the movie, Seth Green, is kind of a rock and roll drummer living through several eras in the music, kind of in the last 30, 40 years of the historical parts of the music industry. And so they go through, the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I guess, of music, or maybe it's even before that. that they go through, and it's loosely based on the life of Elvis.
I could tell when I watched the trailer. Yes, I could tell.
So it should be fun. And I played the role of the keyboard player in. It ended up being just one scene, so it's kind of my my movie debut.
Your 15 minutes of fame, right, in the movie industry, right?
That's right. And I play in Danny Woodburn's band. Danny was the little person who was the star on Seinfeld. So you guys will remember Danny Woodburn. The little guy from Seinfeld, really funny comedic actor and great guy. And so we were on set with him for a few days and did a couple of rehearsals with him on some really funny songs that he's singing on in the movie. So when you get to that scene in the movie and he's singing some goofy songs in one of the bars there, I think he's doing a karaoke spot or something. You'll look over to the right of the screen and you'll probably see me decked out in a 70s a 70s get up playing the
Now
Rhodes.
be careful, I grew up in the 70s. So.
So man, it was fun. It was so much fun, and they found me and found Runaground on YouTube and said we'd love to have you be a part of this. And so I was like, man, it's just it's exciting that to have opportunities like that is a blessing. So.
And here you go back to YouTube. They found you on YouTube. Isn't that wild?
It is wild. The casting director sent me an email and said, "Hey man, we're looking for somebody to play this part, and I see that you play all these instruments. We'd love to have you do this." And so it was awesome, man. It was really neat to see the production, man. I think it's a $3 or so million movie, so it's still kind of an independent budget, but man, they had some really great talent in the movie. So I hope it does well, for Nashville and for all those actors. So I'm excited to be a part of it and get to see it. So it's gonna be cool.
Andy, please tell all of our listeners how they can go out and find your music, find you.
Absolutely, man. They can find everything at /Runaground Music. So you go to youtube.com/Runaground Music, facebook.com /Runaground Music, Twitter's the same, Runaground Music, and the website will be live here in the next week or two, and it'll be runagroundmusic.com. So everything's /Runaground Music. It's pretty simple, man. Put it in and you can find everything you know.
That's sweet. Once again, thank you so much for allowing all of our listeners and our vets to listen to your music. You have been spotlighted this whole week, being played every couple hours for the whole week. And secondly, you're not going anywhere, by the way, when I say that. I mean, we have a place on our website that artists we support, so you will automatically, by default, go into that category so people can click on and find you there, too. So thank you so much for everything you're doing. I love your attitude. I love your enthusiasm. And I love your, no pun intended, your groundness, if you will.
Thank you, man. I want to say thank you to you guys, man, for all the people that are a part of the station at American Veterans Radio, and honestly to all the troops and veterans. I see here that you guys are even supporting first responders and all the listeners. I just want to say, you guys are listening. Thank you for what you're doing wherever you're at in the world. You're inspiring to me and to all those here in America and around the world. Thank you for what you're doing and allowing me the freedom and opportunity to do what I get to do. So absolutely.
Thank you, Andy, and be talking to you later, my friend.
Thanks, you guys.